That's next, but first time countdown's number 2 story. Tonight's worst persons in the world. The bronze to TV sports columnist Pete Dougherty of the Albany Times-Herald and Ted Cox of the Illinois Daily Herald, who both criticized my NBC Sports colleague Alex Flanagan for quoting F. Scott Fitzgerald in her report from the sidelines about Cardinals quarterback Kurt Warner just before kickoff at last night's Super Bowl. Alex noted that Fitzgerald had written, "There are no second acts in American lives," yet here was Warner, released 3 times in his career, in his 3rd Super Bowl as a starter. "We're watching a football game," writes Dougherty, "not dissecting American history. You're a sideline reporter," bleats Cox, "not an essayist." Quoting F. Scott Fitzgerald, one of America's greatest writers who constantly worked into his fiction football and baseball, quoting him for 3 seconds was too much American history or too essay-like for these 2 guys. Fitzgerald also wrote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold 2 opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. In your case, boys, I wouldn't worry about that." It was a fitting reference. The runner-up, Glenn Beck, first he ripped something included in the stimulus that he didn't understand. Turned out it was the same clean coal technology he had ripped Democrats for not supporting last summer. Now he was opposed to it. Now Beck has applied a name somebody made up to part of the stimulus, claimed it is an official name, ripped the Democrats for the name that they actually are not using. He says, "It is the Bad Asset Repository Fund, BARF. When you get a group of people that can't figure out the acronym, bill would be BARF. I think maybe we should change the name. Don't you think that really we should stop listening to these people?" No, I think we should stop listening to you. The phrase Bad Asset Repository Fund and the acronym BARF were both made up by a reporter named Liz Moyer in an article she wrote for Forbes.com. They have nothing to do with the stimulus. There isn't anything called the Bad Asset Repository Fund. But of course, this is way too much information for Mr. Beck, whom research studies indicate devotes exactly 0.0007 seconds of thought to each of his ideas. But our winner, David Duke, the old grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He sees great opportunity in the election of Michael Steele as chairman of the Republican National Committee. And Duke writes, quote, "GOP traitors appoint Obama Jr. as chairman of the Republican Party. I am glad these traitorous leaders of the Republican Party appointed this black racist affirmative action advocate to the head of the Republican Party because this will lead to a huge revolt among the Republican base. As a former Republican official, I can tell you that millions of rank-and-file Republicans are mad as hell and aren't going to take it anymore." He continues, "We will either take the Republican Party back over the next 4 years, or we will say, to hell with the Republican Party, and we will take 90% of Republicans with us into a new party that will take its current place. Let's make this abomination in the Republican Party the last major party of white redoubt as a rallying cry of resistance." Wow. You're going to take 90% of the Republicans with you, huh? You can fit all 18 of them in your car, or you're getting cabs, or what? David Duke, who can make even Republicans look good. Today's worst person in the world.